tonight we have a really great session planned, and I'm super excited to share this with you guys. We are, hey Sue. I've got 2 phones running just in case I miss anybody's comments. But what we're covering tonight is which one, how to, why one or why the other. So we're having a really in-depth conversation around the gels, and they're both just so important, and I really want to go into detail. But I think the biggest thing, and one of the reasons why we're doing this topic again, because for those of you who are regular to our LOHY lives, you would know that we have already covered this once before, but clearly there's new girlfriends. And so we want to make sure that if anyone is struggling along the lines of, you know, which gel to use or what to do, which order, we just really wanted to cover that again for you guys. We really hope that, you know, LOHY is something you can do with confidence and not frustration. So just give me one sec. I forgot to turn the aircon on, and I get really hot when I'm doing my hair. Okay, we are ready. So one of the most important things to do, I washed my hair just about 15-20 minutes ago, so it has dried out a fair amount. So I'm going to make sure I come in and just resaturate my hair. Now I'm going to tell you a few basic things. If you guys don't ask too many detailed questions, then I will just keep chatting because that's what I do. But one of the reasons why it's so important to have saturated hair is because, let me show you something here. Here is a LOHY glove, one of our curl hydration gloves, right? Now, if the bottom of this was, if I wet all of this and gave it a squeeze out and I sat it there, the water would kind of dissipate. It would start to dry in some areas, and so it would be damp in some areas and wet in others and a little bit dry in others. Imagine then if I put gel over that. It would absorb inconsistently to a different strength throughout the fabric. The exact same thing happens with our hair when our hair is damp or slightly dry, is that you don't get a consistent effect of the gel across the hair. So it's really important to make sure that you really make sure. I'm just checking. So many more people are saying, hi Lisa, hi Marion. Please do feel free to comment. I'm only seeing one of my girlfriends. Keeps alerting me that she's continually watching. Mickey, are you like getting off and rejoining? Candace, hello. So frustrating. I can only see it on one of my phones, but not the one I'm hosting on. Anyway, I'm detangling my hair because I had to wash my hair in the basin myself, and it's very hard to wash your own hair and brush it. So I just stuck to the washing only. Okay, so step number 1 is always start with soaking wet hair. I do recommend detangling your hair when it's dry. Why would I say that and then not have done it? Well, monkey, I don't know. Probably just because I'm a human. But yes, that is, just checking. I'm caught up on all the chats. Oh, Ray, would you use different brushes in different stages, or can you use the orange one the whole time? Yes, good question, Ray. Some people prefer different handles for different purposes, because if you have multiple brushes, you would know some feel more natural. This one I find is best for your sensitive scalp friends. So if you have a really tender scalp, this is definitely the brush for you. Purely because of that arch, what you'll see is that as I glide it along my scalp, it curves to the shape. I don't know. I don't have a black brush in here to show you. So I just find if anyone has a really tender scalp, that the detangler brush is the bomb diggity. Just checking, watching, amazing. I'm just checking your comments, making sure I'm not missing any. I really do love to use the detangler for getting like that viral curl brush, right? If you slide it on its side, watch this. You can get those awesome, lovely curl clumps. I have no product in there, so that's why it's not staying so clumpy wumpy. But yes, so I can honestly use that. Amy, is this brush good for little kids with really knotty hair? Yes, Amy, it's brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love it. The shower hook is excellent for the bathroom. It really is. It's epic because it just hangs on the shower. I had a mum come in the other day and she's like, she bought the shower hook so that nobody could remove it from the shower, and then she would know if someone took the shower brush because it's the only brush in her house that has the hook. And I was like, smart lady. Okay, let's talk gels. I am going to do different gels on different sides of my hair, and I want to show you this to help you realize that in the moment it's probably not that different, but the longevity and how it wears is going to differ. So I'm going to, this is how I'm going to remember. This is my wedding side, my wedding hand side. So I'm going to do my normal, my faithful, my POW. This is what I use on my hair 99% of my wash days. On this side of my hair, I'm going to use Oomph, and I'm going to show you the differences of how they look, how they deliver, and I will layer a little bit of each of them over the top so that if anyone wants to see, just double checking chats, if anyone wants to see how I layer them, then that way you can see. Now, from an ingredients perspective, let's just talk science at the moment. And my husband, beautiful Ronnie, will probably critique me on how I have chatted this through, because this is totally his department, talking about ingredients. Just covering my lap because my hair is dripping everywhere. So, hydrating gel. What it has in it is the basis of an aloe vera based gel. Both of them are. You've got different extracts, natural extracts to strengthen and help stabilize and add beautiful aroma and proteins and strength and vitality to it. But in this one, it really is, it's got glycerin, it's got white tea leaf extract, it's got chamomile, it's got guar gum, which is like a preservative, natural one, phenylnexanethanol. It's got a little bit of protein in there, and it's got your lemon and your geranium, which is what gives it the most incredible fragrance. Whereas POW, it does still have the aloe vera base. It has a gangbuster thing called polyquatonium 10, which is a greater capacity of hold and strength. It has your glycerin, has a VPVA copolymer. I can't remember what that does. But it also has this incredible amino acid blend, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, I'm failing here. But anyway, there is a thing in here that helps to really strengthen and support and repair your hair. It must be the polyquatonium 10. And so what that does is it goes in and continues to rebuild your hair and strengthen it. So if you're someone with damaged hair, over time using this, not only will the soy protein help to strengthen and do all of the good things, but this will also help to restore your hair. just so that you have a bit of an understanding. This product, Oomph, can be used on damp, wet, dry hair. Epic Refresh product. We'll be going through a refresh segment really soon, the ultimate refresh hacks. Whereas this product, Power, really needs to be used on wet to drenched hair. Definitely wet to drenched hair. If your hair is really dry and gets so frizzy, that is when you would want to have a little bit of cruise control underneath. For me, I don't colour my hair very often at all, so my hair is not in quite a dry situation. So cruise control is not something I put underneath my hair. It's something I use for a different method of styling, which we can do another night. So, someone's asked me a question. Will you use the curl cream before you use the gels? Sorry, I'm new. Okay, Lisa, good question, even though I just kind of answered it. If you have really thirsty hair and you know your hair just always feels dry, it's always looking for moisture and it just always feels a bit wild and woolly, that is when you would put cruise control on first. It's your primer. It's going to kind of prep the strands. The best way I explain it is via my little picture here, because I love pictures. So curly hair grows looking a little bit like one of these two pictures. The cuticle doesn't sit perfectly flat, which creates quite a lumpy, bumpy strand of hair, which means all the hydration we put on the inside, in the cortex, in the sponge, is not able to be retained. That's why we use a gel. The gel creates a seal, like a trap over the hair strand to try and hold the moisture in for longer. Now, cruise control is a primer. So what it does is it goes on and kind of fills in the gaps a little bit and puts an extra buffer layer of hydration over underneath your gels. And then when you put the gel over the top, it just kind of seals and locks it all in. So that is the why of when I would use cruise control. The other reason you can use cruise control is if you really like a less producty feel. You're not so concerned about maximum retention of curl clumps or perfection, then I would definitely recommend a bit of cruise control. So, but let's go in with Pow. I am doing what's called our lax method. So I am going to split my hair into hot cross bun. It's awkward doing things in a mirror. So if you look, I've separated my hair into two parts on this side, and then when I'm applying the Oomph on this side, I'm going to separate it into two parts as well. Now the amount of gel I'm using, I'm very generous. I do have a lot of hair, but it's not too much, trust me, is at least a 50-cent size. So both my hands are very slimy. And then I am breaking it through from roots all the way to the ends. I think this is the biggest gangbuster for most people, is realizing how close I actually get to my roots. Look, my fingers are touching my scalp. Now, I'm not pushing the gel onto my scalp, but I am making sure I am getting that gel all the way from roots to ends. A lot of people say, oh, I get really, I'm making a mess here. I get really frizzy roots, and my first question is always, when you put your gel on, do you just scrunch from the ends up to the roots, or do you place it the whole way from roots to ends? Most of the time they just go, oh no, I just scrunch it. So they're never getting the application to the roots, which means they're not getting that sealing effect of the gel. Now I've done just a little bit less here. Reason being is I have a little bit less hair because I have an ear. So I'm keeping my fingers really wide and open. Now, if you have an extra fuzzy, problematic hairline, my fuzziest section is just this really delicate hair around here. It almost grows like pubic hair. And so I have to make sure I really pat it on there so that I don't have fuzzy, annoying sections. Okay, now as I'm brushing, big tip here is you notice I'm brushing out and off the head. I'm not worried about my curl clumps at this moment. I am just trying to apply my gel and distribute it. So just two things, okay? You will get a little bit hairy as you do this. Do not be alarmed. And as you can see, I am wearing our most wonderful cold shoulder guard. Even though water is leaking everywhere. Maybe I should have clipped the front. But yes, I am wearing our cold shoulder guard to protect my clothing. Okay, now I am going to start on the opposite side. Exactly the same process. But what you'll see between the two sides is a slight different effect once we're drying. And I'm running out of water. Anyway, so now I'm coming in with my Oomph, exact same amount. So a good 50 size cents of gel. Now for those of you who are on the fence and want to try some LOHY, we have a really good giveaway that's happening at the moment. And you can win a full mini kit. I'm going to show you in a second. You can win a full mini kit by signing up, and there's 3 to be given away. Whoop. I thought I'd detangled all of my hair. Let me just quickly show you this so I can get this off. Now, this is a brand new tote that will be released later on in the year. But we got some sent over by the manufacturers in express posting. So we decided, let's give them away. And how cute is this print? Alex Strong, one of our beautiful local artists in the Shoalhaven region. She painted this beautiful piece. And I was like, how fun does that look? So you could win a mini kit full of all the new beautiful minis. Like, how cute are these? 90 mils. They're refillable and they come in a brand new tote that nobody else has. Amazing. So make sure if you would like to win that, you enter our giveaway. I'm sure Bianca will let you all know how to enter that. I don't quite know how you find it, but it might be on our socials, I would imagine. So now I'm doing my front quarter. So a little bit less than the 50 cent size. Work it in my hands. And slide it all around. Same thing again. Really make sure you're catching all of your lovely edges. And always brushing out. Okay. So, Sue, looks lovely. Great size. 1 second. Great size for traveling. I know, Sue. It's going to be a game changer. Okay. So now I am not worrying really about my two sides because now we're just making curls happen. So I am flicking over to the side. I'm doing what I call a shimmy. So I'm just trying to break apart the sections that my quadrants, number one. But I'm also trying to break apart all those big curl clumps so that I just have more consistent curl clump sizes. Now at this point, if you're really finicky, what you can do is section what we call the horseshoe, the mohawk, whatever you want to call it. And you could, let me sit down so you can see it a bit more detailed. You can basically grab one section at a time and just brush it straight up at 90 degrees. And see when I turn the brush on the side there, I get the exact same effect as that lovely viral curl brush. And just stack them back as you're going. So the types of hair I would use Pow in is always more wavier hair types. So I am a wavy. You can see my hair is not super curly. And the reason why, now this is a really important sound. Sorry, I need to just pause what I'm saying. Ready? Can you hear that squelching? I know it's gross. And if you're very new to curly hair, this might be a bit of a mind blow that your hair is this kind of sodden. But that is the sound you want. That means you've got enough water and product. Okay, so back to what I was saying is with wavy hair, we need more support to our curls, our kinks, our texture, to give it an appearance of more movement, more texture. So that is why I 100% recommend Pow for wavy hair. Now, if you are somebody who has curlier hair and you actually find that sometimes your hair looks too curly, that is when you would want to ditch Pow and move more towards Oomph as your main styler, and maybe you would layer a tiny bit of Pow over the top just to give you a bit of extra hold that frizz at bay, I would say. If you're really not sure, and the kit that you got online from us has both the gels, just try one, then try the other, and see which one works for you. There's no right or wrong, or this is the only product you should use for wavy hair. That's not what I'm meaning. It's just majority of wavy hair people, often we want more curls than what we actually have. And sometimes for curly hair people, they want to feel like they have less curls than what they actually have. Because we always want what we don't have. And so you can kind of see I'm really not touching my curls very much. I'm always making sure, might look like I have a bit of a tick or something, but I'm really trying to shake them so that I am letting them fall as opposed to them being handled so much. So I think that's a really key thing if you're trying to build lovely, defined, soft, touchable curls, is making sure that you don't handle them too much. Okay, so we can see lovely definition there. Nothing will be different at this point because we haven't started working the product, as in it's not at its finished state. Now I am going to let it kind of fall, mostly to the middle. I am going to do a final squeeze of Oomph on this side and then a squeeze of Pow over the Oomph side. And hope that the strands stay. This one's meant to be over here. So pro tip here is if your curls look fuzzy and knotty and messy at this point, this is the only time you can fix them. When they're wet like this, you can rebrush your section and restore cleanliness, clean curl clumps, detangle, and get all those flyaways at bay. Once you start the drying process, it will only intensify any texture or tangles or anything like that. So make sure that if your goal is really nice defined curl clumps without any fuzz, your most important thing you want to do is make sure they look good when they're wet right now. Now, Margaret, I have short hair, so how do you spread gel with open fingers? I would just try and rake it through and keep rubbing through your hands, Margaret, so that your fingertips continue to have product on them. Obviously, as I rake through longer hair, it's a different effect, but that's a really good question. Carolyn, what's the best amount of product for chin length hair? Oh, you're asking a very specific question here, and I can't see your hair type or thickness. It would depend on how much hair you have. I have quite a lot of hair. So for chin length, I would probably say you could start with about a 20-cent size. I always think more is better, but I'm a hairdresser. I really like hair product. So if you're on the tentative side, then I would go just a little bit under your 20-cent size of gel, or you could do like 10 cents in each of the 4 quarters. That would be another option. Let me just check if there was any other questions. Margaret and Sam Jane. Would I need Oomph with 3C very porous bleached frizzy hair? I would say yes, but I would put cruise control underneath if it's really porous. Porous means that it absorbs, it drinks, it just soaks up everything. So the cruise control is going to give you a really great nourishment and a little bit of a buffer. And it will also help really put a bit more moisture there. And then Oomph is just going to be great. It won't over control your curls. Okay, I think I'm caught up on the questions. Whoop. Kate, how does naturally drying impact the product? That is a good question. Oh my goodness, I should make a video on that. Naturally drying. If I left my hair to naturally dry at this point, it doesn't affect the product at all, but it kind of does. So what would affect, what you would see in the effect of if I left it to dry natural is I would get a lot of straightness through here, and my curls would really only happen on the ends, because at this point with my heavy hair, being wavy heavy hair, I don't naturally have a lot of curl form. So some people with your type 3 curls, let me show you. So I am like a 2B. Some bits are 2A. I don't have any 2C. But if you're in the 3 family, that means that your curls just happen on their own no matter what you jolly do. You have curly hair. It doesn't really affect your drying because you'll still have consistent curl movement. What I do find, however, is that because when you're diffusing, you're moving the hair around, so you're going to move the product, which makes it not feel so crunchy and stiff. That is the biggest difference, I think, but it doesn't change the performance of the product. So all you would need to do is once your hair is completely dry, if you've left it to air dry, was it Kylie? I'm trying to just find your name. Oops, so many. Kate. So yeah, Kate, if you are leaving it to air dry, just make sure that as it's drying, you really pinch those curl clumps and make sure before you start to really shake it out, it's completely dry, and it will just take a lot longer. So sometimes I hit my hair with a diffuser for at least 5 minutes to get it going, and then I tend to find that I'm good to leave it. Donna, I need to really wet my hair every morning when I have a shower or I don't feel properly awake. Do I do a refresh with more product every day or wash it and start afresh? Oh, Donna. Try having a cold shower to wake yourself up. I personally would not be bothered. It depends. Some people with shorter hair, I'm talking up because I know you guys struggle to hear me when the diffuser's on. Some people with shorter hair do find it quite a struggle to refresh their curls without having to fully saturate. It's a personal game. But if you have longer hair and you are fully re-wetting your hair, oh my goodness, please try using more product on your wash day to retain better clumps. and try either our sleek cozy, or you can try like a silk bonnet. But yeah, if you are re-wetting your hair every day and having to restyle it and put products in, that sounds tedious and unnecessary, but I know for some people it's the only way that they can get their hair to work. So what I'm doing now is starting my diffusing process. I'm just coming up from the ends up to the roots. And then, without touching my hair, do you see that then? I just did my swingy thing, gave my curls a shimmy. And if bending and turning your body is not something that you can do, you can just come in upside down, like this. That's a very good way of doing it. I'm all tangled now. But for me, with doing this, I find that I can get all of my sides nice and done, and I have a lot of hair at the back, so it means I can get right in at that section. Okay, Martina, what setting is your dryer on? I have the same. I'm a bit naughty tonight, Martina, but I'm probably naughty every time I do it, so I'll just confess. I go maximum fan and 2 heat. I tell my clients to do high fan and 1 heat. But I know that my hair can handle a bit of extra heat. But I do regularly, like I'm regularly pressing my cold shot because it does get a bit hot on my scalp. So, yes. Ray, do you use full fan? Oh, yes. Same question. Good job. Candace, is there a diffuser that you recommend? Woo! There's a whole video series, Candace, on me doing a demo of, I wash my hair 5 times in a day, I think, and use all the different diffusers on the market. The Dyson one in speed, the Bellissima one in the result of my curls. It was a tiny bit slower, and yeah, so the Shark is also excellent. Just a bit noisy in my opinion, like not noisy, it's a bit pitchy. So if you're a little bit sensory, then maybe not for you. Just checking, haven't missed any questions. So if you have that type 3 curl and you're trying to make your hair look more elongated, at this point you would probably just focus your diffusing on doing like this kind of motion. So you wouldn't do a lot of the cupping, because if your goal is less curl, you want to just let the elongation and the weight of the curl pull it down a bit. You know that your curls are going to grow no matter what. But for wavies, when we're trying to increase, this is 100% essential. Oh, somebody questioned, what is Schutzbar used for? Do you know what's been the hardest thing tonight? Not using Schutzbar. Because she is my ride or die. But I want to show you the power of the 2 gels. So I kept it on topic tonight. Schutzbar is the world's best friend. It is texture, but in a delicate way. It's like a salt spray for curly hair. I find that it just really builds a little bit more form and grit to my curls, but not in that crunchy way that like a salt spray traditionally has. So yeah, what else is Schutzbar good for? It's really great for shorter hair. So I can't remember who it was that said that they are, I'm finding it, said that they like to wet their hair every day. Donna. It might be easier for you, Donna, just to use Schutzbar if you're going to wet it every day. The reason why Schutzbar's epic as a solo product is that it dries a lot quicker. So if you are an air dryer or you are really time poor and you are regularly washing your hair, then Schutzbar might be a better option. The only reason why I don't use Schutzbar solo is it doesn't give me the lasting definition because it's a softer seal. It's more a builder in my perspective. Look, someone. Adele. I would die without Schutzbar. I actually feel like I would die too. Adele, it's really hard tonight not using it. Look, somebody's just commented. Kim, sorry I'm late. We'll watch later, but what did you use tonight? I'm happy to recap, Kim. Love it. So, I have used 2 different gels. I've used Pow on this side and Oomph on this side. And then right at the end before I started diffusing, I just did a little scrunch of the opposite gel over each side. So on my Oomph side, I scrunched a little bit of Pow over the top, and on my Pow side, I scrunched a little bit of Oomph. And I've ushered complete self-control in not using Schutzbar and not using Hold It. You should be so proud of me, girl. And guys. Now, because my hair is almost dry, I'm going to take my cold shoulder off. She's making me hot. Okay. So, Oomph is your soft hold. It's not really a gel. It's a very gentle styler. A really great first product to trial in your curly hair. And Pow is my favorite. Just a gangbuster. It doesn't really give strong hold, so don't be scared by what it says there. It does give strength and support, but it definitely doesn't make it Justin Timberlake, 2000 crunchies. So you don't have to be worried about getting 2-minute noodle hair, okay? Just checking. Kim, thanks. Beautiful. I don't know why, but if you guys, I can't tell what you guys can see. But my girlfriend Michaela, it looks like she's joined about 1,000 times. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Now the benefit of cold shots, for those of you who are maybe new to diffusers, think about when you iron something. When you use the iron, you use it on a hot setting, right? So it can press and create change to the shape. Then you normally delicately hang it up while it's still in that warm situation so that it holds its shape, because if at that point you folded it up, it would take on a new shape, or it would hold a crinkle while it cools. So the same concept when we're diffusing is when I put the diffuser up to my hair, up to my scalp, I use it at whatever heat setting you feel comfortable on. Mine is 2, yours should be 1. And then I press my cold button. What that's doing is it's helping set all that lovely volume that my cupping, because I am creating new shape, that my cupping is building. So when you're trying to change shape or increase or, you know, kind of work more things into your curls, understand the importance of the cold button. It is to help set and, keep all of that new shape. Hence why if you've ever curled your hair with a curling wand or a straightener, most of the time you don't brush it out straight away. You wait until it's cooled down. Okay, let me check. Now it's happening with Ray. I don't know what's happening. Might be just my phone. Now you'll start to see my roots are pretty much dry. So what I'm doing now is giving my roots a little shimmy, and I'm trying to open some of my curl clumps a tiny bit. I'm not scrunching them from the ends because the diffuser's doing that and there's no fingers involved or anything. But when I do this, it kind of takes a curl clump from being all like that to being a little bit like that, which means air can flow through it better, which means we can get it drier quicker. Yay. So it's just a shimmy, not a rake. Shake, don't rake. So many curly hair words. All right, I'm going to keep going. Oh, Melissa. Gabby has great curls at the ends, but flat at the roots. If she hits it with a diffuser, would that help keep the curl up to the top? One of the most important things, if you feel like you get a lot of lag at the roots, is your wet procedure. So coming from the ends up to the roots when your gel is in, and really pulsing like you have a stress ball at the roots. You would have seen when I had the gel going through my hair is it was pulsing up at the roots to really try and stabilize and kind of build that consistent curl. I get more movement on the ends where there's less weight, but I get a lot more drag at the roots. So yes, more pulsing and making sure if Gab is using a product in her curls that she's got some application from roots to ends. Because if there's no product at the roots and there's nothing to help it hold, then if you go in with the diffuser, you have support, you have some strength and some help there to build that consistency. But I think because Gab's hair, one of my daughter's besties, because Gab's hair is quite long, she'll always have a little bit of drag like I have. I'm just checking if there's any others. Oh, wait. So hot moving up, cold shot as you hold it on the head. Martina, yes. So hot to dry it, to help set. And then, well, I guess to help dry, yes. And then the cold, like my finger's sitting on the cold now. And then I will let it go. Then I release my cold shot till my scalp feels hot. Then I press my cold shot. Wait till it feels cool. And then drop it down. But like I said, if you're not wavy and you're trying to elongate, then maybe you wouldn't do the whole trying to build the curls. Good questions, guys. Adele, how did I not know about the cold shot? Adele, I adore you, friend. You haven't messaged me back. P.S. Oh, my sister's online. These have been really good questions, guys. Like really, really good. I'm going to choose 2 of you to win a prize. Because sometimes we get some epic questions in these chats, and it's really exciting because it means other people might be too shy to ask questions, but because of somebody else's capacity to articulate better or confidence to ask, you're helping other people. It's so good. Everybody has different strengths, and it's just wonderful. Riley said, pick me for the prize. No, that's my nephew. You're too stinky. Okay, so my hair is getting quite dry now. And so, Candace, is Pow better for a more curly root and straighter end? Pow has more capacity to give support. So what that means is if I'm seeing all these questions come through now. Look at you all. If you have a curly root that you don't love, and if you have ends that don't curl as much, I would say you would put your Pow through, do more this kind of motion where you bring your diffuser up to there and just let your roots elongate and your ends get support so that they dry curlier. That would be what I would say. Kim, what is your favorite go-to process? Like Power, Schutz Bar, Oomph or Power, all 3. So I'm Pow, and then I diffuse until it's like 50% dry. Then I'm Schutz Bar. Wrong. I am Pow, then I'm Hold It, and then I'm Schutz Bar when I'm 50% dry, and sometimes a bit more Hold It. I cannot get enough of those products. Oomph is my refresh when I refresh. So I normally don't use Oomph on wash days, but it's always my refresh product because I have heavier hair that doesn't get so dry. If you have quite thirsty hair, then refreshing, I would recommend Cruise Control. Okay, Val, is Pow better to use when the weather is humid? Yes. So the VPVA copolymer, can't remember what it does, but I do know that Mr. LOHY told me it's got some good. So yes. Hold It is also excellent at intensifying the hold factor of a product in humid environments. So, yes. Melissa, definitely Hold It. Love it. Me too, babe. How are you, Mel? She's a lovely curly hairdresser in Wagga? Maybe? I'm trying to remember. I could be so wrong now. Anyway, she is a legend and has the most delicious, warm, curly hair. Can you use too much product? Ray, yes. And sometimes, Ray is a friend of mine. We go to the gym together, we go to church together. Sometimes, Ray, I do see that you've used too much product in your hair. And so it's a balance of making sure you section your hair and start to really define the amounts of products that suit your hair. A good tip is if you feel like you've put too much product in your hair, but this is only something that will work if your hair is still wet, is grab your spray bottle. If you put too much gel in, grab your spray bottle and saturate your hair and then towel it. The water will dilute some of the product that you've put too much of on your hair. Ooh, wait a second. All right, 1 second. Kim. Albury, that's where Mel's salon is, Albury. Mel, I'm coming to Wagga, though, to do a wedding soon, which is near you. Kim, my wash days, I have more frizz than day 2. Then day 2 and 3 are. But after I wet and reset, my wash days, I have more frizz than day 2 and 3 are. But after I wash and set, maybe can you reword that? I just want to double check I'm answering that properly. Amy, does Hold It shimmer much? The only reason I didn't buy it last week, I didn't want to look glittery. No, it doesn't. I used so much of it in my daughter's hair this morning because she was going as the White Witch from Narnia to school. And no, there's no... My husband put it in because he thought it looked fun. He thought it looked boring before. So it's a very mild amount, and the amount you use in your hair, it's really insignificant. It doesn't really give glitter. I have hairdressers that are like, oh, I want more glitter in it. I want to live out my childhood dreams of, you know, glitter hairspray. But yes. Where was my last... Amy, Val, I find when the weather is humid, my hair goes frizzy. So yeah, Val, you could try using Pow with a bit of Schutzpah, or Pow with a bit of Hold It to give you better control of that humid weather. Marion, I tried the Hold It shimmer spray, but it made my hair feel very dry. This is where it comes down to different hair textures. So my hair is... it's really quite lush. I have almost too healthier hair. That's one of the reasons why I actually colour my hair, is to dry it out a little bit because it's always so healthy. So I would recommend using Hold It next time. Is it Marion? Yeah, Marion. On soaking wet hair, and put a little bit of cruise control under, so that it's just a finishing product and it's not making your hair too crisp. Use like not even a full spray on each side. For me, I can use like 6 sprays and it does nothing to my hair, but everybody's hair is different. Okay, Kim. Day 2 and 3 are usually okay. Is there a reason why I have more frizz on wash days? It could be how much you handle it when you're diffusing. Quite often hair will settle and get flatter as it wears. I'm understanding now. So noticing, like, I've touched my hair a lot, but I've really only grabbed it in bundles. I've not been aggressive. So I think that's one of the biggest things I see when I'm teaching people in salon, is that people are a bit too handsy with their curls, a bit rough. And what that can do is it can really disrupt and make a lot more fuzz on wash day. And you think you're just kind of not doing it, but really watch back at the start of this video and how delicate I was in the handling of my wet curls, because it makes all the difference. Okay. Good questions. I love this. I have to give out more than 2 prizes. Oh. Okay. I'm at the final stages now, where my hair is basically dry. So now I take my diffuser off. If you have a bellissima, sad days, you can't do this. But if you don't... wait a second, Candace. Sorry, newbie. Do we style on wash day, or should we be doing this the second day once the hair is settled? No, style on wash day. When your hair is soaking wet. There is a if you go back and watch the start of this, if you haven't already, Candace, but there is a really good video where I take you through my 25-minute routine and just exactly how I layer it. But yes, so I have taken off my diffuser. Now the reason for this is because I like big hair. I don't like my hair to stay small. And what I'm doing at this point is I'm starting to break the cast. So I had an email from someone today and she's like, I don't like crunchy curls and your product made my hair feel crunchy. I told her to watch this. So hopefully my friend has watched this tonight or will watch it in a replay. So what I've done is I'm holding the ends and I'm just letting some air blow through. I'm also going to and then I'll flick it over. What I really want is all of my curl clumps that were like this to be like this. So still in their clusters, but nobody super defined. Okay. Now, let's have a look. Can you see a difference? Not really. And so this is why the two gels are really not that life-changing on a wash day. What you will find is as it wears, it will give you different effects. So, or it will either help and support or elongate and give more strength. Wait a second, there's been a few questions here. Melissa, are you naturally prone to healthy hair or is it all just down to LOHY? Oh, it's hard to say that one because how do I say it? Before LOHY, I used to do so much more styling on my hair because I just had fluffy, frizzy, flyaway hair. So I did a lot more damage to my hair, so it wasn't in a healthier way. Since embracing my curls, my hair's gotten so much healthier, and yeah, so it's a mixture. It's a mixture of embracing and loving it, as well as then not suffocating and overstyling my hair. But of course, we do get emails regularly. Since using the LOHY range, my hair has completely changed. So that's a really cool thing. There's questions here. Kim, yes, love, 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 big hair. My motto is the bigger the hair, the smaller the hips. That's so good. Bree, am I doing this hot or cold? You can do it either. It's better cold. I forgot to turn it cold because I'm doing too many things right now, but it is better cold and you will kind of just settle down and cool everything off. So it's really good. Power side looks more spiral curl. So this is my power side. This is my oomph side. Now, it's very subtle, the difference, but see how I'm a little bit flatter here? Oomph has kept the form, but it allows a little bit more expansion, whereas power is a little bit more control. If I'd put Schutz bar through my roots, which is normally what I would do, I would have sustained all of that, but I'll probably find that I'll lose my definition quicker on this side because Oomph is a softer hold product. So, I don't know. I love them both, but Power's my go-to with Schutz bar and hold it. One more question, or a few more questions. Kim, have you or can you video on cutting and what to tell your hairdresser? Oh, Kim, that is a rough one. It's like trying to tell a chef how to cook your steak. Ooh! I would love to tell the chefs how to cook my steak, but I would just recommend, we have a lot of online pro education where I teach how I cut. So if you have a hairdresser that's willing to learn, if you can build a relationship with someone, they don't have to be a stockist to get access to all of our pro education. I'm not privy like that. There's just no sense giving it to you guys because some of the stuff I go into detail with, you could, you know, it's too much. But for a hairdresser, it's really good information. So send your hairdresser to our site. Next question, Amy. By the end of wash day, my hair still has shape and waves, but it separates and frizzes a lot. Should I try cruise control with the POW, or should I try hold it with POW? I ordered Hush last week, but I'm not sure. But I'm not sure what is going on. Okay, Hush is not a styler. It's a nurture. It's a hydrating product. So I would say you could try Cruise and POW. If you find that your hair looks quite similar to mine, then I would say that you could do a little bit of Hold It as well. Reason Hold It is epic is just because it intensifies the product. It also speeds up the drying time, which is just a whole nother level of awesome. But Hush, go to our channel, our YouTube channel, and it will also give you tips on how to use the Hush and when. Only on dry hair, not as a styling product. It's kind of a 2000s thing where we used to use argan oil and Moroccan oil. Yeah, guilty. Okay, Amy. Also, I can't refresh to save my life. I need to wash every second day. Can you please talk about that soon? Yes. We're launching something to do with refreshes soon-ish. So they're in production at the moment. So fun. Lisa, there is a wonderful salon called Malibu Hair. Yes. Malibu Hair is excellent. Incredible salon, and it's only 2 hours from Sydney. 100%. Lisa, one of your videos mixes both gels. Should we be doing that? Okay. You totally can do that. The type of hair that you can mix these in is when you just don't know which one you want. So if you've overthought the situation and you have both gels in your cupboard, mix them together. I've got a hairball. Mix them together. It is not a bad thing. If you're like, I don't want it to be too soft to hold, I want a bit more hold, but I don't want it to be too much, then you can totally combine them together. The new minis, being that they are 90 mils, gives you such a better amount to trial. The greatest thing that we designed these for is refilling. Let me put this down. So you can open your friend and refill. Now, I do have one in here. For all of you OG LOHY friends, I'm going to show you something that we have solved now. If I can open this. And then I saw there was a few more questions there. Our new 800 ml pouches have a smaller spout, meaning they fit in to these guys. Whoop. And they also fit in your 250 ml bottles. So you no longer have to bang and clang and waste product, because previously the spout was too large and it didn't fit on the opening of this. Oh, there's a seal on that one. Can't use it. But yes, so now we have the smaller spout with our gorgeous Lauren Ward paintings over them. Okay, let's go back here. What suburb? I'm in Newcastle. Malibu Hair is in the Hunter Valley, Cessnock, I think is my remembrance. So yes, but there is a salon finder on our website that goes through, and you can choose state by state. It has most of our stockists. We're just updating it a little bit at the moment to double check that we have everyone on there. Kim, I have the oil but not sure when to use it. Epic. I will comment on your video and comment on your post, your question with the link to that. Sandy cut my hair and she was so helpful and good and gave me so many good tips. Oh, it's awesome. Love it. Well, in true LOHY Live fashion, please keep commenting. Don't forget to enter our giveaway and win our beautiful, Bianca's calling it our Euro summer tote. So if you are heading to Europe this summer, you need to take this tote. Or if you just wish you were going to Europe for summer, then maybe you can just have an imaginary Europe summer in winter in Australia, like me. Awesome. Keep commenting. I'll make sure I answer them. But there you have it. The difference between the two gels, showing you. I will try and show you tomorrow at the end of the day and just jump on the squad and show you how my hair has settled and worn after a day so that you can see. I won't touch it. I'll just let it be so that you can see a really natural effect of how the products have sustained in my hair and which side I like better. So maybe I might start using Oomph a little bit more. Who knows? But there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. This was such a great live. We'll comment below for some winners and get some details off you. And Beck, you have definitely helped me more for wash day tomorrow. Oh, thanks, Beck. I love it. Love hanging out, and please do keep asking your questions in this group. This is what we want, is people to feel like they can ask questions. You're not alone. We have been faced with all of this many a times. I'm just further down the journey. Amy, that was super helpful. Thank you so much. Love it. Made my night. Anyway, I'm going to go home. Lots of love to you guys, and I'll catch you next time, maybe for a refresh video, or maybe short spa and cruise control video. Who knows? Thanks, Candace. Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. See you guys.